G'day, Aussie bonsai bloke. How you going? Well, guys, today we're going to be working on this Japanese red pine. And, well, I want to just first say I have no bloody idea what I'm doing with pines. No idea at all. This is the only pine that I own. So I only get to practice on them about twice per year. But I will say I think it's about time it needs working on. If it looks a little bit yellow on the edges, I guess it is slightly under fertilised because it got a bit slack over this summer. But in general, she's super strong red pine, super healthy, very spiky. And I didn't want to be working on this on my own, to be honest, because I got no idea what I'm doing. And we had the pine expert, Bonsai Matsu, or Scott Martin, from Bonsai Matsu at the Adelaide Club on the weekend. Bloody awesome demonstration. Awesome demonstration. And he did workshops on the weekend, and this tree was meant to be in the workshop. I had it teed up for the workshop, and I don't know. I'm an idiot. I messaged to say I would do the workshop on the Sunday and I was going to take this tree, and Scott Martin was probably going to work on it and give me a bit of direction, and he's the expert, not me. I know nothing about pines and pretty much bugger all about bonsai really. But anyway, stupid me overlooked my email that said your spot has been confirmed, because when I said I'll grab a spot if there's one available, there was only a couple left, and I just figured, oh, maybe they will take, and I haven't heard anything. And then, well, I did get an email. I went through and I checked, and so my bad. So I feel really bad because I wanted this tree to be worked on super bad by Scott Martin, and I missed my bloody chance because I'm an idiot. So there you go. Anyway, so today we're just going to get into it and work on it on our own and see what happens. Basically, I'm just going to chop branches back and try and get some shape back into it. You can see all the long, super strong growth it's given me. And, you know, there's a fair bit to work with. I've just got to get in there and have a look. The one thing I didn't realise, which is quite bad, is I've got a lot of wire cut in. So I don't actually think, after I styled it about this time last year, I don't think I've actually taken the wire off. So it's been on for a year. So that's not good. So I've been super slack, guys. I really have. I've been super slack. So now I've missed out on the workshop. So let's get into it and let's have a crack ourselves, and it'll be what it'll be. It's certainly healthy enough and happy enough. We'll just trim it back and see what we got. Some of the low branches I won't be trimming back much at all because, you know, the top has, you know, taken away all the energy. But in general, the tree's pretty healthy. So I guess from here, I might even go to hyperlapse because I just don't know what I'm going to do. Really, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, anywhere that there is a clump. Okay, so I've got a couple of things. I've got to take the wire off, but I want to get rid of some of the bulk so it's just easier to get the wire off, because I hate to get the wire off a tree that's so overgrown like this one. So yeah, there was a lot to work with if I went to the workshop, but didn't go, did it? My fault. So, I don't know. Here we've got nearly 4 branches coming from one spot. Now, because it's getting up there on the tree, I'm probably going to go, well, I'm definitely going to choose the shortest of the branches. So by doing that, I'm going to chop, hang on, that one's long, so that one can go. That one's fine. That's long, that can go. And I believe that'll do. I don't know if I can cut that back or not. I don't think I can. I just have to leave it. Okay. So there you go. I've cut one. We'll take some needles off underneath. Super strong, it won't matter. And I'm just going to go through the tree like that and just reduce it back to 2 shoots. Can I cut it back to there? I probably can. Probably can. But what it'll mean is if I cut it back to there now, there's no dormant buds in here. They have to grow. So come spring, you've already got dormant buds in this shoot because that's the end of a shoot. So come spring, I don't think this will shoot out. It'll have to grow new buds in here. So maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just chop that off because it's too long. Okay, and now we've got short stuff here. I don't know, this red pine's very prickly. So I'm going to go through and I'm just going to trim it all like that on hyperlapse. And then I'll come back straight after I've trimmed it. I won't do any styling. I'm just going to trim it back to 2 shoots. If there's anything too long, I'm just going to chop it right off. Look at this candle. This one's off the top of the tree. I just chopped it off the top of the tree. Whoops, sorry guys, bouncing you around. Just chopped it off the top of the tree. Look at that. That grew after I styled it last year. Wow, look at it. Crazy. I don't know when I styled it. I'd have to go back and look, but I might have styled it in December, or maybe I skipped December this year, and maybe it was this time last year I did. But anyway, I'll get in there, I'll do it on hyperlapse, and I'll probably just, have a quiet beer and just sit back and trim the tree, and I'll see you guys when all the trimming is done. Okay, let's get to that. Cheers, guys. Well, g'day guys, welcome back. Well, I threw all the rules out the window and ended up just going by my dumb instinct and selected 2 shoots from any one location. If there was a branch going somewhere where I didn't like it, I just chopped it clean off. And any long shoots, I ended up just chopping it back to a short internode, the same as I would a broadleaf evergreen. Do not copy what I've done. I'm just having a go and have no idea, but we'll see what happens with it, and you guys will be able to check it out in another video in 6 months to see what it's looking like. But this is my experiment with my only pine, and my instinct was I'm just going to clean it up and chop everything back. I think what you would do to a radiata pine. So now that we've chosen the shoots that we like and cut everything back and cleaned up a few of the long needles, there is still a few weird shoots around the place that I can get rid of. One thing I will say, which I know definitely, do not cut back a branch to where you don't have any needles. If you cut it back to where there is no needles, your branch is toast. So always do that, that's definite. Cutting it back hard now, or the long shoots, cutting them back hard. Will it force new buds? Probably. I would be pretty confident that it's going to force new buds that are going to shoot out in spring. but it could be a fairly weak shooting out because there's no prominent buds now. I've pretty much chopped them all off and they have to reform. So I think I've done it all backwards, but we'll see what happens. This tree was super healthy this year, so that should be fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to chop all this wire off. I'll give you guys a bit of a close-up of the wire and show you how bad that she's cut in. And I guess the method of pulling it out, especially when it is so badly cut in. Okay, I'll bring you in close. Okay guys, well, apart from these feral dogs running around chasing each other, we're ready to show you the wire. What's going on, dogs? Those feral dogs, very cute. Okay, so here we've got some wire. It's actually not too bad. In some places worse, you know, like here's pretty bad. But I find the combination is good. Sort of chop it back, unwind it a little bit, chop it, leave a little tag there so that you can push on it, unwind a bit more, chop it, unwind a bit more. Be careful unwinding. If you unwind roughly, or yeah, just if you're a bit careless and you don't do it in the exact direction that you've got it, being careful not to completely ring bark the tree, you can ring bark the tree. If you try and pull this wire off in a different angle to what it's in the bark at, it will pull that whole section between the two wires out, and that whole area there will become ring barked, and your branch out here is completely dead. So what you'll do is you'll come in here and cut, okay, then you'll get your finger or something in here and get it started. Copper wire is not easy. There's actually copper in here. And you'll unwind it with your finger. If it hurts your finger, bad luck. Put up with a pine. Okay, so just go around here. Be really careful to unwind in the exact direction that it's stuck in the bark at. If you go offline at all, and instead of lifting up exactly where it's stuck in, if I was to pull it one way or the other, side one way, or that way, as I lifted, it would have ring barked that whole area. This is a pretty good example of an ingrown wire through neglect. Should have been taken off earlier. And this tree is going to take a bit of effort to clear from all this wire. But, you know, having said that, as you can see, the trunk of this tree does bark up pretty well. And it'll cover any wire scars in the future. So as long as you can get the wire off without any catastrophic ring barking of your bark here. So you can see I've got the wire off each side of there without taking off a big layer of bark. If I had a branch that I wanted to remove, I could show you guys what I mean, but don't really have one that I want to remove. I could show you how removing it, you know, carelessly would ring bark it, but in this case, no. I might have to get pliers. My fingernail just can't do it. This copper wire, super strong, man, super strong. So I put a fair bit of effort into wiring this by the looks last time. I've done a real good job of wiring up the whole tree. And once again, this is why Aussie bonsai bloke tries to steer away from wiring as much as possible, but I will wire when I need to, is because I'm too bloody lazy to take it off. Here you go. Let's get rid of that copper wire. If you had aluminium wire, it'd be a lot easier. But challenge yourself. Get some copper, put it on, let it bite in like me, and then see how you go taking it off. Alright guys, I'm going to go through and do this whole tree now, so catch you in about an hour, because I've got to be super careful not to ring bark any section. If I do ring bark a section, I'll come back and show you, because it'll be a good demonstration as to how you can ring bark it. And obviously if I do ring bark it by pulling off a bit of wire, well, that branch is dead. And apart from me just having ego and trying to hide from the embarrassment, there's no reason why I shouldn't show you guys if I do happen to do that, because it is entirely possible. Once you let the wire grow into a tree this far, even an experienced person can still ring bark it. And if I do, I'll show you, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. Cheers guys. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. So that's enough of talking about wire, and I'll see you after the wire's gone. Cheers. Okay guys, well it's bloody happened, hasn't it? So unfortunately for me, but fortunately for you guys, I'm able to show you what happens if you're careless. So I was unwinding this wire, and I carelessly just ripped it out and ripped this whole cambium layer with it, and ring barked the whole part of that tree. So that's dead, it's finished. So fortunately for you, I could show you, but good news is I haven't done it in any other location, one spot. I guess it's this branch that's not going to matter too much, but it was the main part of the apex, you know. Let's chop it off. No point keeping it now, we've killed it. So close up, you can see close up as that unwound out of there. Okay, so it was wound in there pretty tight. Instead of being really careful to hold that finger there on and try and push a nice easy curl around, I would have just ripped it like that and ripped that cambium clean off. So that's what happens, you know. If you let it bite in too much, it can sometimes be unavoided, but sometimes it can just be unavoidable. But generally, if you're really careful, you can still make do. See, just completely ring barked it. Oh well, it's only a branch. Can you tell where it come from? Not really. Doesn't seem to matter. Okay, well, that was lucky. Okay, back to pulling out the wire. Well guys, there you go, that's it for the day. Got it nicely trimmed back. Don't copy what I did, because I pretty much ended up just treating it like a broadleaf evergreen. Reverted back to what I know, which is a broadleaf evergreen olive, and treated it like an olive. And I just cut everything back to 2 shoots and shortened all the shoots. Time will tell whether that was a good or a bad thing to do, but there you go. Trunk is taperless whole way up pretty taperless. A little bit of movement, which is good, but very taperless. In the future, who knows, maybe some big branches will come off, but I'll probably sit back and look at it for a while and think about it rather than just make some rash decisions and just chop stuff off. But I have probably thought maybe there's a couple of weird little branches that can come off, like a little one in here hanging down between the two pads. So we'll get rid of that one. Everything else is pretty good, really. I have thought about this one, just chopping it back to there. I think when I designed this design, even though, as I say, I would have liked to take it to the workshop, I think I had in mind that it was going to come up that way more. I'm not sure. But I'm looking at this one here and I'm thinking, I want this one to come up, I think. Do I like this lot going down? I don't think so. Let's chop it off. Did it change it much? Not really, but it has sort of cleaned up the bottom there. Okay, I think that'll do. That's enough off. As you can see, I probably did not stick to the rules of cutting less than 50% off, because that's a damn lot of foliage there and probably not a lot left on the tree. So it ended up being a fairly big trimming, and we'll just see how she goes, see how she recovers. So like I say, don't copy what I did, but you know, I'll keep you informed on the progress of how it recovers and what happens in spring. So we're sort of moving into winter here, autumn, late autumn, moving into winter, and things won't move much. The biggest fear that could happen to this tree now is it turns yellow and dies, but moving into winter with this little amount of foliage, it'll probably go a little bit yellow, and maybe I'll keep it out the frost and it'll recover in spring, I'm pretty sure. I've treated this tree pretty hard in the past and it's always come back, and this is not even close to how hard I've taken it back in the past. So if you're here in person, it does have a little bit of shape to it, but it's still not the greatest tree, you know. It's my only pine, but it's definitely not the greatest. Trunk movement's okay, taper is shit. Branch structure is okay. I mean, I guess branch structure's okay. Could it probably have some major branches removed to open it up a bit? Probably could. Which ones? I'm not skilled enough to know, so I just found some wire. Hang on. So I only ended up stripping that one branch with taking the wire off, so that was good. Didn't do any major damage. So yeah, this is a time of year for me where a lot of my jobs outside have finished because we're coming into winter. So for me now is back to bonsai full time, and I'll be releasing videos and editing videos and having a good time out in the shed. So be prepared for a lot of videos, and I'll try and bring it to you. I won't promise it, because sometimes when you promise things, they don't happen. I will show you the trunk, the lichen. It actually has a good base under here, believe it or not. Underneath all this liverwort, there's a good base. That's another thing too. I've got liverwort on here. Liverwort is an indication that you're overwatering. I guess as a bit of a myth, really, because look at that. I've got plenty of liverwort on a lot of my trees and they don't seem to be suffering. I think lack of fertilizer is probably the biggest thing for a suffering bonsai. There you go. Put it there. Oh, I was going to show you the lichen. See the lichen on this tree? Bits of lichen all around the place. I'm liking the lichen. All right, I'll give you guys a spin of the tree on the way out. I'll just put it on a board and give it a bit of a spin. I am trying out my mic again, and I'm going to try some different editing. So keep giving me feedback on the volume on the mic, and the consistency is also a big thing. I'm trying to get this mic to work because I paid $350 bloody for it. Okay, let's give you guys a spin. All in frame, yes. So yeah, unfortunately, Scott Martin couldn't help me out with this one because dumbass me, well, I lost the email or didn't look at the email. But anyway, my fault. And I feel like a goose. Feel like a real goose because I missed out on a good opportunity with a pine expert looking at this thing. And he might have been able to actually make it look something decent. Instead, I'm left with this ugly duckling. But it is what it is. Another spin. You are what you are, mate. Just like I am what I am. An ugly duckling. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers for watching. Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Stay tuned for the next one. I hope you enjoyed this one. Most of all, have fun with your bonsai and don't take it too bloody seriously. Cheers, guys. Cheers.